Egypt or Syria? Unrest is unrest. Restlessness never pays. So we have to bring in calm and composure to our mind. Welcome once again to News Analysis. News Analysis is a weekly magazine on current affairs. To begin with the main points in a nutshell. Egypt unrest, military apologizes for protest death. India to open market to global supermarket chains. J.K. Rowling tells Leveson inquiry of press intrusion. Syria unrest, Arab League sets observer ultimatum. Moroccans vote in parliamentary polls following reform. Pakistan woman killed and cooked husband in Karachi. And now the news in detail. Egypt unrest, military apologizes for protest deaths. Egypt's ruling military has apologized for the deaths of about 38 protesters in clashes with police as protests continue in Cairo and other cities. The Supreme Council of the Armed Forces (CAF) said it is regretted that the deaths of martyrs from among Egypt's loyal sons, the violence which began on Saturday, is the worst since President Hosni Mubarak was ousted in February. SCAF also said elections would start as scheduled on Monday. There have been speculation that they might be delayed. In an announcement on Thursday, Council member Major General Mukhtar al-Mawla said parliamentary elections would be held on schedule. A presidential poll is to take place by June next year. He said those responsible for deaths and injuries would be held to account and that protesters arrested since Saturday would be released immediately. Compensation would be paid to the families of the dead, General Mawla added. Late on Wednesday, two members of the council appeared on state TV to offer condolences to the entire Egyptian people. One of them, Major General Mohammed Al-Assar, extended the regret and apology of the entire armed forces on the tragedy that occurred. He added, "Our hearts bled for what happened. We hope this crisis will end and, God willing, it will not be repeated again." The generals urged Egyptians not to compare them to the former regime of Mr. Mubarak, insisting they were not seeking to cling to power. Reporters in Cairo says the general's tone was completely different from the fairly confrontational address by the head of the ruling military council, Field Marshal Mohammad Hussein Tantawi, on Tuesday. Meanwhile, public opinion is divided on the forthcoming parliamentary elections, write the reporters like Jeremy Bowen. Some Egyptians want them to go ahead unhindered, while others believe the military must be swept from power first. The main opposition group, the Muslim Brotherhood, is not supporting the protesters and expects to do well in the elections. Witnesses said that two groups were chanting against other in Tahrir Square on Thursday, one saying Muslim Brotherhood, "We don't want you in the square," and the other responding with a call for unity. Street battles continued late into the Wednesday night. They were heaviest around the fortified Interior Ministry of Tahrir Square in Cairo. Protesters in Cairo said gathering for another mass rally to demand that Egypt's military rulers step aside. The demonstrators are demanding the postponement of parliamentary elections due to start on Monday. The latest wave of protests, which began a week ago, has led to the worst violence since the fall of President Mubarak. More than 40 people have died. State media has reported that Egypt's army appointed an ex-Prime Minister Kamal Khanzuri to form a new government. India to open market to global supermarket chains. India has approved a long-awaited proposal to open up the retail market to global supermarket chains. Food Minister K.V. Thomas said the cabinet has agreed to 51% foreign ownership of the multi-brand retail stores, allowing groups like Walmart and Tesco to open new stores. Such operators currently can only sell wholesale in India and not directly to customers. A decision on the issue has been pending for 2 years. Mr. Thomas told reporters that the cabinet decided to raise the cap on foreign investment in single-brand retailing, such as Apple or Reebok, to 100% from its current 51%. Consumers will have many more choices, said Gibson Weathermoney of Retailers Association of India. It will truly be a borderless world in terms of products available. Supporters of the move say it will increase competition and quality while reducing prices, which have been hit by close to double-digit inflation. Opponents say the multinationals will squeeze out India's smaller and poorer traders and drive down prices paid to India's farmers. Completely opposed on cabinet ally on the ruling Congress party, Dinesh Trivedi of the Trinamool Congress said his party was completely opposed to it. He said, "My suggestion in the cabinet meeting will be that an all-party meeting should be called to discuss a sensitive matter before taking it up and into the cabinet." The main opposition, Bharatiya Janata Party, is opposed to the proposal, and there have been street protests by traders. BJP leader Murali Manohar Joshi said the move was a tool to kill the domestic retail industry. But Gibson Weathermoney, a board member of the Retailers Association of India, told Agence France-Presse, if this proposal gets through, consumers will have many more choices. It will truly be a borderless world in terms of products available. Trade Minister Anand Sharma said before the decision there was a broad-based consensus in the cabinet in favor of the proposal. However, some analysts have pointed out to the potential political fallout and say there may be another move to postpone any decision. The multinationals have long been eyeing on the lucrative Indian market. Tesco, for example, welcomed the decision. Allowing foreign direct investment (FDI) in retail would be good news for Indian consumers and business and await further details on any conditions, the company said. MPs in uproar over retail reforms plans. We already have franchise agreement with Tata Star Bazaar stores. Learning about India and serving more customers. Every month is a win-win for customers, suppliers, Tesco and Tata. Any easing of regulations could eventually come with strict controls, for example, on local sourcing and levels of investment. There has been uproar in India's parliament over the cabinet's decision to open up retail market to global supermarket chains. One key government ally, the Trinamool Congress, joined opposition parties in shouting slogans on unfurling banners. The lower house had to be adjourned and Trade Minister Anand Sharma instead held a press conference to spell out details of the policy. He said the India-specific scheme would create tens of millions of jobs. The cabinet move allows 51% foreign direct ownership (FDI) of multi-brand retail stores, allowing groups like Tesco and Walmart to open stores. Such operators currently can only sell wholesale in India and not directly to customers. J.K. Rowling tells Leveson inquiry of press intrusion. J.K. Rowling has told an inquiry into media ethics the scale of media intrusion on her private family life. The Harry Potter author said the reporter had once tried to contact her by slipping a note into her 5-year-old daughter's school bag. She said clearly she could not put an invisibility cloak around her children to protect them. Earlier, Lord Justice Leveson heard from actress Sienna Miller, a former motorsport boss, Max Bosley. The inquiry, which is being held at the Royal Courts of Justice, heard Miss Miller says blamed friends and family when personal information appeared in the press, when in fact her phone had been hacked. Mr. Mosley claimed his son could not cope and turned to drugs when he saw published photographs of his father at a sadomasochist orgy. Ms. Rowling told the inquiry, which is being held in the Royal Courts of Justice, that children deserved privacy and that she had always tried to protect her private family life from the press by taking measures which included wrapping them in blankets to hide them from paparazzi. They have no choice over who their parents are and or how their parents behave. A child, no matter who their parents are, deserves privacy. Where children are concerned, the issue is fairly black and white. She said that when her daughter was in her first year of primary school, she unzipped her school bag and one evening had, among the usual letters from school and the debris that a child generates, I found a letter addressed to me, and the letter was from a journalist. She added, I felt such a sense of invasion that my daughter's bag. It's very difficult to say how angry I felt that my 5-year-old daughter's school was no longer a place for complete security from journalists. The author also recalled how the PCC found in her favor after a photograph of her 8-year-old daughter in swimsuit on a beach in Mauritius was published in an OK magazine. I feel that given fact that an image has a life that cannot be recalled, I am sure it's still out there. There is a particular harm of an image. The writer said shortly after her son was born, she was besieged by photographers. After a week had passed, she believed that they had disappeared, so she decided to leave the house and take her children out. However, she soon realized that a photographer with a long lens was there. I rather absurdly gave chase how I thought I was going to outrun a 20-something paparazzo while pushing a buggy. The cumulative effect, it becomes quite draining. The author also told the inquiry how she had to sit down with her daughter to say an unpleasant character in Harry Potter book was not based on her ex-husband, which was wholly untrue. Story the Daily Express had published.
She was in her first year at primary school, and I unzipped her school bag in the evening, and among the usual letters from school and debris that every child generates, I found an envelope addressed to me and a journalist. Now, it's my the letter was from a journalist, so it's my recollection that the letter said that he intended to ask a mother at the school to put this in my daughter's bag, or I know no more than that. I don't know whether that's how the letter got in my daughter's school bag or not. But I can only say that I felt such a sense of invasion that my daughter's bag. It's very difficult to say how angry and how angry I felt that my 5-year-old daughter's school was no longer a place of, complete security from